All right, welcome back, guys. Quick recap. The series itself has gone kind of back and forth. We had a Baneling Bust, game number 1. Really quick, really slow or fast game number 2 as well, with some Lings on Foxtrot Labs. But Super finally brings it back with a nice bit of an all-in at Overgrowth. And we'll see where it goes from here. It's a best of 7. There's a lot of games ahead of us still, even if this is one-sided. But I want to also give a big shout out to TKL StarCraft for subbing to the channel. Welcome to the family, man. And thanks for your support. Spawning in the top left corner of the map, though, it's going to be TCM's red Zerg player, Sulky.
At the bottom position, Blue Protoss Invasion Super.
Alright, so James, I know you know a lot of the Korean guys. Are you too familiar with Super, or is he just one of the ones you don't really have contact to?
He's one of the person that I don't really have contact to. Like, I never really had any friends per se in MVP, and the only one was DRG, just because like I met him at Red Bull Battlegrounds and stuff like that. And then that kind of led on to, you know, a couple other things, but really, yeah.
Well, I was only asking because I was a little bit curious on like if if he's been in these. Obviously, you can't answer, but like if he's been in these situations before, where you start off down like that, but then come back hard with an all-in. Will he continue with the all-ins? Will we see a change up? I mean, there were several different ways that went awkward for Super. Like he won that game, but I'm not even gonna say that was like a clean victory. It didn't feel. Took a couple of tries to come back to that third, and it's not a map merry-go-round that is where he can abuse those same tricks again.
Well, in appraisal for Super, one thing he did right was that, yes, he lost two games really early, or super early, ha ha ha. And in that game, he threw in a mind game of his own. That because Sulky went for Baneling Bust and then Ling all-ins, he completely ignored the possibility of Ling all-ins and decided to go for, I guess, 3K all-ins into, like someone said in the chat, like, you know, sand style, if you want to say. So that,
well, he's starting to do better than Sun. He's past the round of 8. Sorry, shots fired.
And I think Sulky missed his first scout. Like he went the right direction with the drone scout, but he didn't see any buildings, so he turned.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks.
Well, he knows it's the bottom though. He's got it because like he scouted the actual 2 on the other location. So yeah, it was a terrible scout for him to start, but he knows where Super is.
Yeah.
That's so
like with this
awkward,
drone
though.
scout, you went to the 6 o'clock position first and then missing it. That happens to me a lot. It's just surprising how even pro gamers could make such little mistakes.
Well, I always think back to was that MC versus Baby Knight, right? Where on Whirlwind, the missed scout of the century scouts all 4 bases and sees nothing. It happens, but yeah, so a little bit odd to start, but Sulky with brain power determines where his opponent is. He now sees with the Overlord the assimilator, so he knows exactly what's going on. Super, though, is going to try to keep these Lings out. That micro doesn't quite pay off.
Could have easily just used Force Field, I guess.
Is it worth it though? I mean, the Lings are gonna. If the Lings don't scout, the Overlord will come in, right? I mean, you kind of have to play into the assumption that Sulky will see what you're doing.
What he could have tried to do is block it off and try to snipe up the Overlord with the sentry, because Sulky knows that there's a pylon position in the ramp. There could have been some buildings. As long as you block out the vision of Sulky in that area, you could start getting into Sulky's head, right? So it may have been worth it, but the Super's decision was that it wasn't.
Well, the nice thing about this map is if Super does want to do some sort of all-in, and with Robo coming down, I'm sitting a question mark, like Robo, Sentry, Immortal, maybe. It's pretty short rush distances compared to something like Overgrowth. Actually, it's not too much shorter than Overgrowth, but the point is if he does want Robo tech, whether it's Colossus, whether it's Immortals, at least he'll be able to get them to the front lines fairly quickly. Whereas for Sulky, this third base is coming up pretty nicely. We have the Roach Horn coming down as well, so he's not going to find himself without the ability to make units, but it's a layer with only 2 gases, probably not looking to duck towards Mutalisks.
It is going to be an Immortal Sentry all lane, this time without +1, and, you know, again, as you were guys talking about earlier, not as abusive as Overgrowth.
Yeah, that third base has not quite got that really sick. I mean, you can still get some force fields off to, like, these crevasses and stuff, but it's nothing like Overgrowth. You can actually go around for the Zerg player.
Yeah. it's you might be thinking that is like, you know, because some people are bad against defending against T-Rexes. So even if they know it's coming and you do it to the first 2 games and you do it a third time, they still lose to it. So maybe he's thinking that's kind of like Sulky's weakness. I feel like Sulky's weakness actually last game was more so, well, besides overgrowth being a little abusive, but also just overconfidence maybe. This game he's maybe a little more
Potentially.
humbled.
Well, the
Oh, look at that!
observers
Mother
are revealed.
support cleaning out all the
Yeah.
creep tumors.
Oh, it's kind of cute to
That's
see.
funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's the safest way to do it. You don't want to bring a stalker or zealots, I guess, but in the process, kind of reveals there is an observer out. So if Sulky had any inclination to go burrow tech, he may not anymore.
Mm.
That's a lot of
Well-
sentries and it's a couple of immortals. This is looking good for what Super wants to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Sulky was a little bit. Normally, when he has scouted the proxy robotics facility, he would have droned for another 30 seconds or so and then switch into unit productions. But this time he cut his drone productions earlier than regular.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be relatively easy for Sulky to defend against this.
It's a blessing and a curse sometimes, though, because you know you want to have a good drone count so production will last.
But oh, losing 4.
Yeah, it's just like the Immortal Sentry Island is so powerful in the beginning because it has the most forces in the beginning. So you need to last like a very long time, actually, unless you just completely overrun them to begin with. But
Yeah,
that's
it's like
obviously not gonna happen.
endurance.
These are all.
Oh, those time warps
Bit
are
of
really
fire.
nice. But he's forcing the fight going to be what he wants to do. Roach is coming from the
Roaches
north
are so
side.
damn slow without speed upgrade.
Yeah.
My God.
Trying to
Took
give out with the
forever to
fight.
get there.
Yeah, there's a time warp as well to still muscle through. The Roaches are just getting
And
battered
Immortals
away
are
by the
still
Immortals.
alright.
Yeah, they haven't even lost
Immortals
shields yet.
Still very much alive.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is
was
old
one
school, but
shot.
this is good.
Super. Oh, he's
Wow.
like praying to the Immortal Sentry gods right now. Like, oh, thank you. I was so. Oh my God, that was looking
Yeah,
pretty bad. But now it's even.
Yeah, he's praying to parting.